What's going on, guys? Check this out. We're gonna do a little mukbang, a little story time for y'all. Check this out. We got some. Oh, I'm sorry, but I didn't even.
No, just like
didn't even show her. So she knows what it is.
this. So this is brisket fried rice.
Brisket fried rice.
This is beef stir fry.
Can you open them actually?
Yeah.
Oof.
I had to do the spicy level 4 on everything because apparently nothing past 4 was available. This is so good. That's the beef stir fry.
The hot food does make my booty hurt sometimes, though.
I love it. This one is the beef noodles.
Beef noodles.
We also got some. What else? I don't know what I got. Oh no, these are burnt.
Dang.
These are veggie rolls. And then we have some soup dumplings. And then these are pork dumplings. And then go flying.
Hey,
So
you want
what
to show
we
them your
have.
drink?
Oh, I just have a strawberry watermelon prime drink.
Yeah. Bomb. Look at that. Oh, look at this. Did you? Okay. Oh, so I don't know if I said, but we're gonna talk about scary stuff that's happened to us, and I got some good ones. I know she does too. And if you guys get too scared, you know, I would recommend maybe sleeping with somebody or maybe cuddling with them. Or... Yes, it is. Check this out, guys. Oh, look at this.
You have to mix that spiciness in there.
Look at that. Mm.
Hope I don't get it on your shirt. That's really good.
Mm.
Is it spicy or no?
Mm-mm. Okay, I'll go first then.
Okay. What you got?
So I'll go with the one that I remember, or not remember, but I'll go with the one that's not as scary. I'll save the scary one for last. But in my house where my mom and dad live, well, my mom now, but it's 2 rooms in the very back, and in the very back of the house was on the left side was me, and on the right side was my parents, and then there was a restroom on the right side next to my parents' room, and then further up towards the front of the house on the right was my sister, and then on the left was my brother, and then it was a kitchen and the living room and all that. So one day, you know, I'm getting home from a night with the boys, hanging out with my friends, you know, doing some very, very godly stuff. We finished reading the Bible.
Were you really or you're lying? You're lying.
Well, I mean, we were doing very, very good things. You know, we were in our community, you know, so we finished that. I got home and, you know, I'm getting ready for bed, you know, hopped in the bed, relaxing. I kind of hanging on my phone a little bit. Then, you know, about shut-eye time, I turn off my lights and I go to sleep. I don't know if you guys ever get in these, I guess there's like sleep paralysis, I want to say. So it's, yeah, right. Sleep paralysis where you're just laying there like you can, it's like you're awake and you're looking around, but you can't move your body. So I'm like feeling that, like, you know, and it did not feel comfortable. It felt nasty. You know, you get that nasty feeling in you and you just can't move. And then make things worse, while I was, you know, going through all this, I noticed some noises in the background. And then I was hearing like this
like the wood creaking? Or
yeah,
what?
like the wood. Well, not wood. It was like the front door. You know, wherever you live, you get used to the noises. You know, like when it's the doors. You know, people walking, whatever the case is. And I heard the door like open and close, and then I was like, "What?" And then I could hear footsteps.
To the front of the house?
Yeah, to the front of the house. I heard the door open and close, like somebody was coming in. And then as soon as that happened, like I would hear like you know the heavy just like just stepping, and it was crazy because as I heard these noises, my like the whole inside, my feelings was just terrible. It was getting worse, and I couldn't move. I'm trying to move, and I'm just like, you know. And then I looked behind me trying to see what it was, and I couldn't. And the steps were just getting closer and closer to my room. Next thing you know, it's at my door, and I know it's there because the footsteps are literally right there. And I'm like, I look back and I couldn't, and I'm trying to think of what to do, and I couldn't think of anything. Next thing you know, like the footsteps started again, but this time getting closer to my bed. And I was like, I wanted to yell and scream for help, and I couldn't do anything. All I could do is just move my eyes around. Next thing you know, I felt something like get on top of my bed, and then like it was over my body. And that's when I couldn't take it. But right then and there, I started thinking, like, let me pray. So started praying the Our Father. And as I was praying, whatever was there started coming, like, it was just like getting off of the bed. And then as I continued to pray, it was walking back towards the door. And what was crazy was that as soon as I stopped praying, you could tell that whatever it was just right there at my door. And like, I think it was waiting for me to stop praying completely or whatever. But oddly enough, boom, like I woke up.
It wanted your soul.
Maybe, right then and there, I woke up and bam, it was just like gone. And I woke up from that dream, and it took me about 30 minutes to come back, fall back to sleep. But that was a really, really bad scare, that one right there.
I mean, I had never had sleep paralysis in my life. I mean, I guess if you're like Hispanic or whatever, you can kind of, you've heard of people say like, se te subió el muerto.
Oh, yeah.
And growing up, like I would hear my aunts and uncles and mom and dad like talk about stories that would happen to them. And so I guess, and I'm not saying that I didn't believe in it. It just had never happened to me, so I didn't know how to feel about it. But we were at our own house, and we had just recently switched the bed. We used to have the bed to where it was facing our vanity and our door was to the left. But it was our smart idea to put the door on there was a window behind us. We put the bed against the window, so when you were laying down, you're facing the door. Oh, the ghost is here. No, just kidding. And we had, our kids were a little bit younger, so we would leave the door open in case, anything would ever happen, if they cried, or we'd be able to hear them. So at the end of the hall, there was another window, and we usually turn the lights off, but there was, I don't even remember, there was a light post on like right in front of our like house, across where the acreage was at, like the little acre area. And that light post was obviously always on. It's a street light. So it was bright enough to where the light will kind of come in through the blinds. Okay. So I remember that night, we went to bed, and I was sleeping on the right-hand side. Oliver usually always sleeps to my left-hand side. And I'm laying there, and which is weird because I'm usually a person that either sleeps on her side or sleeps on her stomach. I rarely ever sleep, boca arriba with my head up. So I remember I was laying there, and I just had this feeling of like, it felt like somebody was looking over me. And I'm not gonna lie, at first I thought it was like Oliver. I thought it was you, babe. Because he would wake up sometimes, like I would go to sleep before him, and he'd be up playing games, video games or something. So I was just thinking like maybe he woke up and started playing video games or something. But it was even hard to like open my eyes. But when I finally opened my eyes, all I saw was like a black silhouette, like just like I could see no face or nothing. It was just a black silhouette just standing at the freaking right-hand side of the bed. And when I opened my eyes, I felt as if the person or whatever it was started pushing down on my chest, and I felt like I was sinking into the bed. And I was trying to like look to the left and trying to call him, and I was like, and I couldn't, like I just couldn't do it. And I was starting to panic. And then my first instinct was also like, let me just close my eyes and pray. Closed my eyes, I started praying. And as I was praying, I would feel that pressure like lift off of my chest. But it happened like 3 times. Like, I mean, I don't know why I kept trying it to see like, is they gonna come back? And it did. Like I opened my eyes again, and again, I would feel like just, and at this point, I think the second time I opened my eyes, it wasn't even like a black silhouette anymore. Like everything was just black. Oh, wow. And I would just keep feeling that pressure. And the third time, I think I just eventually, like, I fell asleep, like, just praying, and it just lifted off of me. But
this all happened in one night?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like it happened 3 times. Like I opened my eyes once, twice, 3 times, and I kept getting that sensation. And finally, I just fell asleep praying. But that was the only time it happened. But I know people say like it's like sleep paralysis, right? Like it's just like your mind or whatever. But I'm just like, if it's my mind, like why does praying help? You know?
That's true.
Like why is praying the only thing that gets it?
I didn't think about that. You know, like when scary stuff happens, like when you pray, it goes away. So like, doesn't that make sense? That
yeah, because God is real.
God exists. You know. I just splashed myself.
You can just
That's a good one. So
show.
another one that I remember.
Have you tried?
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I like that one a lot. These are okay.
They're okay. I think because they're
Yeah.
cold.
The soup dump. Yes, I guess you probably.
To put it in there.
I think you probably ordered the wrong one, maybe.
No, I ordered those last time.
No, but they're not. I don't know. But the soup dumplings are not all that. The pork dumplings are amazing.
Really good.
I love the rice. This noodles is good. These noodles are good. I think it's just the soup dumplings came out a little. So this story actually, my dad told me, and it's a quick one, but it was pretty scary because you know I sleep there. But my dad said one time on the weekends, my dad will usually wake up and check on us, you know, in the mornings whenever you know he's off. And I think that Friday night I spent the night with my friends, and you know I didn't come home obviously, and my dad went to go check on me. He goes to my room. He said it was maybe like 5, 6 in the morning. Still a little dark, but you saw daylight. And what happened is he goes into the room. He checked the bed, saw that I wasn't there. He's like, all right, you know. But my window and my window had blinds or curtains, right? And they were slightly open. He said he saw something like pass by real quickly. So he walks over, opens up the blinds, and then he said that he was looking around in the backyard, and we have a big, huge backyard, and there was a lot of surrounding trees, real big, huge trees. And then as soon as he looked up into one of the trees, he noticed a big, huge lechuza. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that term, but lechuza usually in the culture is like a witch. Owl. An owl / witch. And these things are usually bad news, meaning death usually. And
like a bad presence. Like it's not, it's Hispanics usually use it as if it's a lechuza, like it's not good.
Right. And he saw it in the tree. And he said that he actually saw like the colored eyes. It said it was they're like red. He noticed it in the tree, and it was there for a while. My dad was starting to get like cold feet, and he couldn't move for a bit. And then finally, he just, you know, I think he took a step back, and then noticed that it wasn't moving. But I think he said that when he turned around, you know, to get out of there, just to see, you know, he goes over to his room. So our 2 rooms are on, like I said, the left side and right side, and he has his own window that's aiming towards the backyard. So he goes back, opens up his blinds to see if it was still there. It was gone. The thing about scary stories is when you start talking about them, it gets you into the mode, you know, into like, and you start getting scared. We gotta watch Insidious 3 in a little bit. Sheesh.
I say about. So apparently, when I was little, I had an imaginary friend called Belen. Remember her? Yeah, I told you about the story. Called Belen. My mom says that it used to freak her out because at this age, I was born in El Paso, and we lived in a mobile home, and it was like a piece of land, and it was just like our mobile home. My dad's sister, which is my aunt, lived like, I mean, not that far, like maybe 20 feet away. His brother lived there too. I mean, we all kind of lived in the same little land, but it was far enough, and it was really dark. We lived like in a corner lot where it was really, really dark at night. But my mom would get freaked out because, you know, at this age, I think I was maybe if Astor was barely born, I was maybe 3 or 4. So my mom had like a semi-newborn baby, like a couple of months old, and I'm like 3 years old. And she says I would just talk to myself a lot, that sometimes she would pass by my room and it got to a point where she would get so scared that she wouldn't even try to ask me anymore, like, who are you talking to? Because the first couple of times that she asked me, like, who are you talking to? I'd be like, oh, like my friend Belen, like she's sitting right here with me. And my mom would just, she said she got to a point where she's so scared that she wouldn't even, like, she would hear me and she'd probably even try to shut the door. Like, she would just let me.
I would too.
Kind of just enjoy my time with
I'm about to leave you right now, girl.
But, so the thing that happened was that I think my mom would try to tell people, like, this is happening, like, she has an imaginary friend, like, she speaks to someone, like, someone, I think a couple of times the, what do you call it, the little boom boxes, like, you know, back in the day, you have to, like, switch the little button to turn, I mean, even the radios now, but you had to switch the little button, but I had a little boom box in my room, and it was always in my closet, and my mom would say that randomly that boom box would turn on. And yeah, like, she'd be like, I would be in the kitchen with her or whatever, and she'd be walking to her room, and that boombox would just be on. And that she would ask me, like, did you turn it on? And I'd be like, no, I didn't turn it on. And she would try to tell my aunt and my dad, like, this is happening. And I guess nobody really believed her. Like, she was like, whatever, she's crazy, I guess.
Damn.
But what happened was that we were supposed to go pick up my grandma, my dad's mom, you know, rest in peace, my little grandma. But we were supposed to go pick her up from the airport that day. And so we leave as a family. I mean, you know, it's me, like I said, 3 years old. My sister's like a couple of months old. My mom and my dad. No one is home. We leave to go pick up my grandma, and we catch traffic on our way to the airport. So we're delayed from the time that we're supposed to be there to pick her up. So my grandma's getting a little worried, like, hey, you know, did they forget about me or what happened? And again, you know, it's back in the day, back in like 1996. Cell phones were not really like a big thing at that time. It was mainly like home phones. So my grandma thinks about, you know, let me call the house. And she says that she calls and a little girl answers. And my grandma thinks, oh, it's Zoe, right? Like Zoe. So that she's like, hey, Mika, like, can you let me talk to your dad? You know, I'm at the airport waiting for you guys. And that the little girl says, oh, nobody's home. Everybody left to the airport to go pick you up. And my grandma's thinking, like, why the heck would they leave the child at home by herself? And then my grandma goes, is it you, Zoe? And the little girl says, no, my name is Belen. Have in mind, my grandma had not been talked to about this imaginary friend. Like, my mom hadn't even talked to my grandma about this imaginary friend that I have. So we get to the airport finally, pick up my grandma. After we get all her luggage in, she gets in the truck. And, you know, on her way home, she's like, hey, like, you have like family home? Like, is somebody visiting you guys? And my mom and dad are like, no, like, you know, nobody's home. We left the house. We all came to pick you up. And then my grandma says, who's Belen? So that automatically throws my mom off the freaking, like, she wants to run out of the truck. She's like, what do you mean, who's Belen? And she's like, well, yeah, we're taking a little, you know, while to get here. So I called your guys' house, and a little girl answered and said that her name was Belen. So my mom was like, oh, hell no. So obviously, you know, my mom told my grandma, like, you know, this is this imaginary friend that's always been talking about. And, you know, my grandma's like, you need to believe her. Like, you know, those things actually happen, but you need to be careful, because a lot of times it's like, I guess, like, lost souls that are trying to come and, like, you know, take over, I guess, you know. So my mom was really pushy about, like, getting, like, my dad getting us out of that home.
Jesus.
We eventually, this is how, I mean, I don't know how scared it was or what the situation was, but my parents ended up just gifting this mobile home.
Jesus, bro?
To our neighbor, Doña Tomasita. They ended up just gifting the mobile home to her so that we could move away from that place. I would always make sure, like, I would tell my mom, like, Mom, please close the closet, like, at night. Like, she would tuck me into bed, right? I was so scared. I was 3 years old. They had me in my own room. But, you know, my mom would tuck me into bed, and I was always try to make sure to tell her, like, please close those doors. Like, I don't want them open. And randomly in the freaking middle of the night, I would wake up. And in that closet, my mom had it set up to where, like, all my dolls and stuff would be set. And I would wake up, those freaking doors were open, and I could just see my freaking doll's eyes glow. And I'm like, this has to be a nightmare. But it was all like often, like I would wake up and I'd be like, what the heck is going on?
That's something else
but
right there.
Praying would always help me. Like my mom would always tell me, you know, pray when you're scared, and praying has always helped me. But
in the comment section down below, let us know if you like this if you like this type of videos. Because what I was thinking is doing another mukbang and then doing like the remaining ghost stories that we have.
You're gonna get me fat. Okay,
like, comment, subscribe. Please let us know if you like this. That way we can do another mukbang with more scary stories. Or give us some ideas to try, even places to try. This is Monkey King Noodle. Monkey King Noodle in Deep Ellum. Hey, let us know if you like this, or we can do more scary stories. Or let us know if you like, you know, hey, try this food next time you do it. You know, give us all that info in there. But like, comment, subscribe, guys. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.